Welcome to the Dating After Divorce podcast. I'm your host, Shade Curry, and I believe every divorced woman deserves a romantic relationship where she feels safe, loved, and cherished. You can create the most amazing life after divorce, and I will teach you how. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dating After Divorce podcast. I am Shade Curry. I am a life coach. I work with divorced women who would like to be repartnered after their divorce. I know many of you are longtime podcast listeners, so I just want to take a moment to say thank you for spending this time with me. Several of you have booked consultation calls, and it has been such a pleasure to get to meet you, to talk to you, and to work with some of you. I always feel like you guys know me and I don't know you. So when you book your consultation call and we talk about working together, it just makes me feel so good to know that you are out there, you are listening, and that you love the podcast. So today I just wanted to share a small snippet from a coaching session that I had with a client this week. And it really encapsulated what I see many people go through when they're dating. I went through the same thing. And it's really when you are recycling thoughts that create discouragement and disappointment when you're dating. Dating apps are the easy target. They are the easy villain for this disappointment and discouragement. But I really feel like this is a narrative that has been there in dating and relationships for women probably for thousands and thousands of years, which is that this isn't working. This isn't working for me. I'm not going to find someone, and you have all of the reasons why it's not working for you. And this particular client had dated in the past, but had never been in a relationship. And she had worked with a couple of different programs, and those programs hadn't worked for her. And now she was working with me. And a lot of what I do is not just give you the strategy, like, hey, here are the steps, go through these particular steps. And those steps are tweaked for your specific situation, your geography, who you're looking for, who you are, your personality, all of that. We also dig into the mindset behind it. So she had her steps, and she'd had her steps for a while. And this is why we were having this conversation, is that she knew her next steps, but she'd been stuck on some really basic steps for over a month. And so I challenged her on that. Like, hey, how come you haven't completed this worksheet? And how come you haven't gotten back on the apps and, things like that? And so at first it was like, well, that's the holidays and Thanksgiving. And I was like, okay, I see that. But really, these items would not take you a long time. Like, this list would take you less than an hour to create. Getting on the apps probably would take you 15 minutes because you have them on your phone. You just have to reactivate them. And so I haven't done this because I have all these other things going on. The reality of what was happening did not add up. And this is where the power of mindset coaching comes in, is that it's very easy to tell yourself that you're busy, that you have a project at work, that, all of these circumstances are keeping you from taking the steps you need to take to date. But when you sit with the reality of it and actually do the math of the situation, how many minutes do I really need to get this done versus how much time did I spend binge watching my favorite show last night? You realize that there's something deeper going on. And of course, there was something deeper going on with this client. And as we dug into it, she was sitting with a lot of thoughts, a lot of beliefs based on her history. And so what we got to was that based on her history of failing in the past to find a partner, she was sitting with a lot of discouragement and a lot of disappointment. Those emotions came up for her at every step of the dating journey. And so we went into it like, what is causing you to feel this way? Why are you thinking this way? Her big thought was, this is not working. Or sometimes it would come up for her as, it's not going to work. And I hear this so much when I am on the internet, kind of like, talking to women. A lot of it is it's not going to work. When you have the thought that it's not going to work, your brain kicks in to make that happen. It's like, oh, we believe that it's not going to work. So then it is my job to make sure that it's not going to work. And so when you look at the apps, all you see are the men that are not going to work. All you see are the people who didn't message you back. All you see are a repeat of the stories of your past where it hasn't worked in the past. And you will only see the situations where it's also not going to work again. The problem with that is that is not even the story that you want, because when you think it's not going to work, you feel sad. You feel bad. Like that creates apathy and a loss of motivation. It creates pain. It can create grief because you start grieving the possibility of a relationship in your future because you already believe it's not going to work. So the sadness comes in, the loneliness kicks in. All of those negative emotions kick in, not because you truly cannot have this relationship, but because you are recycling thoughts that bring you into a state of living in the reality of never having a relationship. Like, you don't have a relationship yet, however, you could. And for my client, it was interesting because I said, what are all the reasons? One of the things I asked her was, what are all the reasons why it could happen for you? And she's like, well, I've started working with you. I have a whole new strategy that I haven't worked on before. I have access to a different way of coaching. I think the coaching style that she had worked with before was completely different from mine. She's like, well, it could work because I'm doing something completely new. And it's interesting that her brain chose to think it's not going to work versus it could work because I have all these new possibilities. So if you are thinking this isn't going to work for me, you're going to be very apathetic. You will procrastinate dating. And even if you do date, you will approach it with a lot of irritation and annoyance, which is not a healthy state for attracting a relationship. Or if you think it's not going to work, you might also overthink. Like you might not do anything at all and try to figure out the perfect path, the perfect profile to put out there, the perfect profile to swipe on. Or you might start to question if you even really want a partner at all. Yeah, you do. If you're listening to this podcast, chances are you want a partner, right? But your brain will trick you into inaction by telling you, well, do we even really want a partner? A partner might complicate our lives, and all these reasons why you might not want a partner. And all of that overthinking just keeps you stuck. It stalls your dating journey. And what's crazy is that your brain is actually working, doing all of these things. It is working. It is putting in energy that you could be putting into your dating journey of learning more, of coaching, of reading, of studying, of growing, of practicing. You could be putting all of the energy that you're putting into stalling. You could put all of that energy into growing. And so you're working over time to make sure dating doesn't work for you. When you choose the thought, this isn't working for me, this isn't going to work, it's never worked for me, I've never been able to do this in the past. Instead, you can learn how to shift your thinking, because your brain is just a self-fulfilling prophecy machine. You put in the input of what you want to believe and it will go to work to make it happen. If you start to shift that, redirect your brain into thinking in ways that support you creating a new relationship, it will put its energy into making that happen. So you could start to intentionally choose a mindset that believes in you, right? You could choose to believe that you deserve an amazing love. Like, well, I haven't created one in the past, but I deserve love. Like, yeah, I would make a great, great partner, and I deserve a great, great partner. You could choose to believe that you're totally capable of creating a new relationship. Like, why wouldn't I create a new relationship? I've accomplished so much in my life. Like, I've gone through the divorce. I have, gotten my life sorted out. I've gotten my money together. I've accomplished so much in my career. I've accomplished so much with my profession. I have, raised my kids and they're doing amazing. All of these things that you have accomplished so far can be thoughts that you choose to focus on. They can be evidence that you can make success happen in the area of relationships as well. So go back and see, where have you accomplished difficult things? Where have you done hard things? Where have you overcome obstacles? You can totally do that again in your relationship. Discouragement is just a lie that your brain is telling you to trick you into staying in the comfort zone, to trick you into not doing anything unfamiliar, anything scary, anything risky. But empowerment is also available. You could redirect your brain to choose thoughts that empower you, that get you on board with actively creating the result of an amazing, extraordinary, nourishing, loving new relationship after your divorce. And after this coaching session with my client, she was on fire. Like, she was lit up, like, oh my gosh, because she is actually extremely accomplished. She has done some amazing things in her life. She was in the military and just had a stellar career and has really like set herself up financially in other ways. So like, I was like, listen, sis, you have done some really hard things. You have really done some amazing things. It is the same resourcefulness, the same intelligence, the same intention, the same scrappiness, the same can-do attitude that she brought to all of those other situations that she needs in dating. So I wanted to share that with you. If for any of you that were feeling discouraged or disappointed or were recycling all these thoughts that create apathy and a lack of motivation, like, listen, those are just thoughts. Your brain can totally choose a different set of thoughts that are also true. Those thoughts are not the only thing that are possibly true. It is just as true that you can do this. It is just as true that you have, if you are listening to this, you have resources in your life and resources available to you that can help you make a new loving relationship after divorce happen. All right. That's what I wanted to share with you today. I hope you have an amazing weekend. I will be back on Monday with a new episode. I want to encourage you to schedule a consultation call with me. If you have decided that I really do want a relationship, like this is something that I want. In the second half of my life, I want to have a partner. I want to do this again. Schedule a consultation call with me. Your consultation call is free. And what we do is we go down what's happening in your dating life right now, whether you've not started at all and you're considering starting, whether you started, but it's been a really bumpy road and you can't figure out how to make it happen. Or if you are even halfway through and you are considering going exclusive with someone, I work with clients at every stage of the relationship journey to heal their triggers, to heal the past relationship patterns, to make dating fun, enjoyable, and effective, and to nurture intimacy, vulnerability, safety, and commitment with the partner that they choose. I just completed working with a client who came to me after she had gone exclusive with her boyfriend, and we have just spent the last 6 months with her healing and changing her relationship patterns so that she shows up in a way for this second marriage in the way that she wants to. So there is work to be done at every level of relationship. And I would like to invite you to work with me to create that relationship that you want. All right. Thank you for your time and attention today. I will see you next time. Thanks for listening today. If you are ready to get married after divorce, I want to invite you to download my free 8-video training specifically designed to help divorced women date with ease and get married again. Head over to shadecurry.com to get started. That's SADECURRY.com. I'll see you inside.